In this video, I'd like to talk about schedules. Now, traditionally, schedules are these arduously created lists of information that you have to create line by line and item by item and fill in all the data manually. In Revit, a schedule is a live view of the model. So it will automatically look at a category in your model and list out all of the items of that category. Now, the template that I used to create this project included some schedules. So if we scroll down here on the project browser, we can see the schedules and quantities branch right here. And you'll notice that I have 3 schedules already in this file. So you're welcome to open each one and kind of take a look around. Here's the door schedule, and you can see that it lists all of the doors. And we've already seen the numbers because we had tagged those doors previously. So those numbers are familiar to us, but the rest of the information here is being read directly from those door elements. So notice that I'm seeing the widths of the doors and the heights of the doors and the thickness. Now I've gone in and filled in this other information here. These are just simple text fields that you can type in anything you like. So I've filled in a material and a finish and a fire rating and that sort of thing. Now I've done something similar in the room schedule. So previously we addressed the numbers and the room names, but I've gone in and added the floor finish and the base finish and the ceiling finish. And so you're welcome to explore each of these schedules and make any changes that you like. Now I'm going to go ahead and close both of these. And what we're going to do is create an entirely new schedule that focuses on a different category. We're going to focus on the furniture category. So let's say that our building owner is interested in knowing something about the amount of seating that they can accommodate here in their restaurant. So it would start with creating a schedule that would start to get at that information for us. So I'm going to click on the View tab here, and using this drop-down menu right here, I'll choose Schedules and Quantities. Depending on your version of Revit, you might have a filter list here, and as long as you've got the architecture filter checked, then you should find the furniture category. Now, in my case, I have several others checked as well, so I'll just have to scroll through those other categories, but we're looking for the furniture category right here. So it will suggest the name Furniture Schedule, and I'm fine with that, so I'm just going to accept that and click OK here. That will take me to the Schedule Properties window next, and on the left-hand side, you'll have a list of all of the available fields for the furniture category. So think of this as one or more questions you can ask all of the furniture in your model. So the first question I want to ask my furniture is what level it's on. So I'll select the level field here, and I'll add it to the schedule right there. Now you can also double-click a field and add it that way. So I'll double-click Family and Type, and that'll add that next. I'll double-click Count, and then finally Comments. So I'm going to keep this schedule really simple and just ask those 4 simple questions. And then I'll click OK. Now, the schedule will display in its own window, and the only column that I can't really read very well is column B. So you can actually put your mouse right between 2 column headers, click and drag, and increase the width of that. So let's do that with column B so that we can read all of these values. And if I start to scroll through this list here, you can see that it's a pretty extensive list. There's quite a few pieces of furniture in this model. Now, if you are having any difficulty reading any of these values, you can actually zoom the schedule using the Control key and the wheel on your mouse. So if I hold the Control key down and roll the wheel up, it will zoom in, and I roll it down, it will zoom out. So if you want to get a slightly better look at the information in that schedule, you can certainly zoom in. All right, so right now you can see that I get a table and then some chairs, and then another table and some chairs. And it's useful, but there's so much information here, it's a little difficult to digest. So we can improve the presentation of the schedule in a few different ways. So with the schedule open here, come over here to the Properties palette and notice that it says Schedule at the top. And if you scroll down, you're going to see a series of edit buttons right here. Next to sorting and grouping, let's click the edit button there, and that will take us back to Schedule Properties on the Sorting and Grouping tab. And we have several different criteria that we could sort or group by. So the first thing I want to sort and group by is the family and type, and I'll click OK. Now that improves things slightly by putting all of the like items together, but notice that as I scroll through here, there's all the chairs, for example, but it's sort of interspersing level 1 and level 2, and that may or may not be the best way to organize this. So I'm going to go back to that edit button next to sorting and grouping. And it might be nicer if we sorted first by level and then by family and type. Now I could certainly click OK here, but notice that whenever you choose a sort criteria, you also have the option to add a header. And in addition to a header, you can even add a blank line. So let's do that. Let's make this level header and blank line. We'll click OK here. And let me scroll back to the top and show you what that looks like. So here's the header. I'll scroll down. Notice that these are all level 1. And then there's the blank line, and here's level 2. Now that kind of makes the first column redundant now, because if I've got the header for level 1 and level 2, then I don't really need to see that information again. So this time I'm going to go to the edit button next to formatting. The level field is already selected, and I'll simply make that a hidden field and click OK. And so that removes column A, and now I've got the individual items of furniture listed, but I still have the headers. Now, let's look at the count column next. We're seeing several instances of the same item listed over and over again with a count of 1. So the next way that we can improve this schedule is to go back to sorting and grouping. And down at the very bottom here, we'll uncheck itemize every instance. In addition to that, right above that is a grand totals checkbox. And let's do both of those and click OK. And now suddenly the schedule is much easier to understand because I get a single entry for each kind of furniture and then a count in the count column. Now, as a final finishing touch, I'm going to go back to formatting, select the count column. Because it's numerical, I'll right align it, and then down here under calculation, I'll choose calculate totals. Now, in order to see those totals, I want to get a subtotal here and here. I need to go back to sorting and grouping and add a footer to the level field and click OK. And now you're going to see everything is right justified here. I have 100 pieces of furniture on level 1, 99 on level 2, and a grand total of 199. So now if I took this report with me to go talk to my building owner, we could have a much more productive conversation about each of the pieces of furniture that we were going to include in the project. So by creating a custom schedule and just doing a little bit of formatting and grouping, you're suddenly getting access to all this rich data that lives in your building information model.